In India, they would certainly say already no, good afternoon. And I want to say to everybody, hello, namaste. Yes, I'm Tania Friederichs. I'm the Councillor Head of Section Research and Innovation at the Delegation of the European Union, taking care of the cooperation between the European Union and India on research and innovation. And I'm very happy that I happen to be in Brussels, so although I like very much to be in India, but at least, yes, if I stand here, I should at least take advantage of the micro. So I've been in India since the 1st September 2016 as the Councillor for the European Commission, Cooperation on EU-India, and in that short time that I was in India, I have already had the possibility to attend 3 activities related to social sciences, and 2 of which by EQUIP. So I think my presence here today is a confirmation that also the the delegation in Delhi is committed to social sciences and to EQUIP. I'm speaking to you today, which feels a bit awkward for me because I used no more to speaking in Delhi, but I have to apologize. My colleague, who is the desk officer in Brussels for cooperation with India, Florent Bernard, had another meeting, and since I was in town, he asked me if I could give you some lines on our cooperation, which, as I said, being a friend of many of you, Rina, colleagues, Jackie, we have met. And it gives me also an opportunity to listen to the section on Societal Challenge 6. I just had Elizabeth that I could listen, so that was informative for me. What can I add to what have been said? You have explained very well what the value was of doing this cooperation on social sciences between Europe and India. Having been that short time span in India, I can certainly confirm that, that it is fascinating, vibrant, but especially as Professor Mahota was saying, it's an emerging economy, and that's why it is so important to also consider fully social sciences and humanities at this time of the state of development of India. And I jump immediately to social sciences, but let me go one step back to where we stand, Europe and India. Whenever we make presentations and prepare it for our ambassador, the first thing we always say is India is a strategic partner of the European Union, and by the numbers of times you say it, you start to believe it. But at the same time, from what I see from our cooperation with India, definitely it's important to engage on research and innovation with India, because I think that there's a lot of similarities between Europe and India. The Minister of Science was saying that we are natural partners because we share the same values, we're a democracy, and also institutionally there's a lot of similarities between the European Union and India, given the union, the federal level, and then the states, and this, if I say the tensions between the state and the federal, it's not in a negative sense, but it's also like, what can we do at state level? What can the federal level do? And that's also very much a bit the name of the game at European level. You can certainly confirm that with its advantages and disadvantages. So that's another reason why it is so important to cooperate. It's a bit more difficult to explain to India or to what the value added is of the European Union level. to cooperate with India, who is, compared to the EU, a state, a continent, a whole world by itself. But that's precisely why it's good to have these platforms, because it also allows to understand better what these values of Europe are, what the added value is of working at European level compared to the different very interesting projects at bilateral level. And certainly, again, their social sciences has a role to play. That's why certainly cooperation on research and innovation between Europe and India is important. It's important because we share the same values. It's also important, and that it's an amazing personal experience that I would like to share while I'm here now, is that having now been that short time in India, we really do share the same, we have the same problems. The societal challenges we face are really the same in India than in Europe, except, of course, the size. The challenge that India has is, I don't know how many more times, it's not mathematical, and so we have a lot to share, we have a lot to learn. India can jump several generations, or they can build upon our experience, or vice versa. And that's also why it is so important that we do work on research and innovation together to address the societal challenges. And I would say not only societal challenge 6, where you will find specific research on social sciences and humanities, and definitely the Indians that are here can correct me if I'm wrong, but I have also the feeling, from what I have seen, I've been to Terry University, that also India sees that social sciences has a role, has a function not only for the sake of social sciences and humanities, which is important and which we have to address, but also for climate change, for the digitalization, for robots that will change the labor market, and all these things. It's there in India, just like it is here. And waste management will require a lot of social sciences in India, because we will have to shift from informal economy to more formal economy. And also that will require that people have to adjust to that and need to be supported into that. So it's this idea that we have at European level that social sciences should be present from the very beginning in consortia, which are not related to social sciences as such, is a reality. And I feel that that is even more the case in India than it might be in Europe. But maybe I see more clear now what's going on in India. So how to capture all that, how to capture this cooperation between the European and India on research. Well, first of all, one way to do that, certainly, and I already said that because I was among you when we were in Delhi, is not to consider this project as the end. That would be sad. I already said that, but it's not meant to be. You have build links, and you should build upon that. You have contacts, and you should continue to build upon your experience of having worked together, having shared experience, and then use that experience that you have acquired, becoming more familiar also with our program, the way we design programs, the way we construct consortia, the way our projects are evaluated, and what it means to work at multilateral level compared to working at bilateral level is something that you know and that you have experience, and that you can confirm that it is by itself an added value. It's a bit more effort to work multilateral, but you share much more knowledge, and again, you jump compared to just working at bilateral level. That's why we don't want to say in which areas to work together, but we put our whole program, Horizon 2020, open to the world. And then EU, India in its institutional contacts, and for us, the institutional partner is the Department of Science and Technology and the Department of DBT. We've had extremely good experience and many projects from the previous program, FP7, and also with them we had to engage in discussions how to build upon that, not to lose that knowledge, to expand it. We have new knowledge, you need new knowledge, and how can we bring that together? And based on this principle of Horizon 2020 open to the world, we've had contacts with the ministries, and we have designed what we call the co-funding mechanism, because it is true that participation in, I don't want to look backwards either, as Elizabeth said, we have to look forward, but there was one distinction. In FP7, there was this automatic funding for Indian participants compared to now Horizon 2020, where India has to bring in its own funding. But it's worth doing. Wherever the funding comes from, sometimes it's a small investment that can bring a lot of other opportunities, a lot of sharing in knowledge, and a lot of investment in knowledge that brings other opportunities. And that's why we speak to the DBT and the DST, and for the work programs 2018-2020, we are working with them on a number of areas, could be of interest to you, water, nanotechnology, health in particular, where we might need cooperation, input of social sciences. And then what about what you are, of course, mostly looking at, participation in the very interesting upcoming program of Societal Challenge 6, where we will address research on migration. India has experience on migration, the inclusiveness, or how to address the fourth industrial revolution, which is all ongoing in India, maybe even experience on e-governance. There, either you look for participants, you have a consortia, you'll be selected and you will have to fund yourself, or if, I've already said that and I repeat it here, if you find that there is a critical mass and you speak to your relevant Ministry of Human Resources department, and they are willing also, like the DST, to do the co-funding, we as European Union Commission and the delegation in Delhi in particular are willing to help you to design that mechanism so that you can even be more proactively participating in Horizon 2020, because the overall message is that we have valued your participation and we will look forward to continue it and to increase it, especially in these last 2 years of Horizon 2020. Thank you very much.